If I had to describe the Backburner in just one word, I would choose unexpected. If you saw the teaser or have been following production updates on this video, you probably thought that I was doing Man's Guide to the Huntsman. But while you were focused on something else, that's where the Backburner shines the most. On its face, it seems like a pretty normal side grade. You get guaranteed crits if you burn someone's back at the cost of an air blast that uses 50 ammo instead of 20. And yes, I do see that other stat, but every other flamethrower that can air blast does that, so it's not important. Now, most people upon seeing this would just be like, all right, that's it. But here's the thing. These extremely simple stats transform the Backburner from a basic stock weapon to a tool of utter chaos. Let's go over that top stat first because it basically defines the entire weapon. It accomplishes quite a few things, but above all else, it encourages you to make like a From Software dev and ambush some poor schmuck who's just trying to play the goddamn game. It just makes sense. If you crit from behind, you want to start fighting from behind. Running around the flank, hiding in a corner, anything is on the table as long as you're unexpected. Okay, so here's a good example. There's like 3 or 4 people on the cart right now. My teammates are distracting them so I can get behind them without being seen. And this is honestly just like the basic Backburner gameplay. You burn their backs. That's it. I did too much damage for the heavy to do anything about it. And I get the soldier and the medic does a funny ragdoll, and there you go. I saved the game. Another really basic example, there's a bunch of people on the cart here, so I'm just gonna walk up behind them while they're focused on something else. Kill 1 person, kill 2 people, kill 3 people. I flanked him so hard he left the game. That's cool. In this clip, I get Ubered by our medic for some reason, so I'm gonna hold down the mouse 1 button to just kind of clean up a bunch of people and then establish myself as a presence on the front lines. And then once they're expecting me to be up there, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go around the flank and, hey, you got something on your back there. You want to turn around? I can get it for you.
Fine. Roll a deception check with disadvantage.
Okay, so you're not going to believe this. This is actually something I've noticed a lot while using the Backburner. People tend to panic when a pyro ambushes them, so oftentimes they'll turn around to run away, not realizing you're using the Backburner, and just get themselves crit. It seems a little silly from our perspective, but let's look at the situation from theirs. So a pyro charges you, and what weapon is he using? You see the problem, right? First of all, there's only one visual difference between the Backburner and stock, this dragon ornament right here. But not only that, when a pyro presses the W and mouse 1 buttons at the same time, which funnily enough I've heard they tend to do a lot, it unlocks TF2's fucking hidden light theme. I genuinely can't see anything right now, and in a situation like this, the only tell would be the sound that the flamethrowers make. But unless you're experienced enough to know the difference, you wouldn't know this and would just get crit seemingly out of nowhere. So at the end of the day, can you really blame someone for making this kind of mistake? I mean, maybe, but I'm totally going to abuse it anyway. All right, so these clips I've been showing you in the patented SoundSmith narrates gameplay clips to show off the mechanic he's talking about section are all fine and dandy, but I'm usually starting in the middle of the clip, already in position. And what I failed to show you so far is, well, how I got there to begin with. See, Pyro's a fun class with a lot of problems. Notably, he's not really all that fast. I mean, to be fair, he's got average speed, same as all these guys, but when you're hanging out on the flank, you're much more likely to run into this guy. Or this guy. Or maybe sometimes this guy. And seeing as nearly every flamethrower's range is shorter than the average lifespan of a live service game that's definitely going to be the TF2 killer this time, we need to cover that weakness with our secondary weapon. And sure, we could technically do that by adding some range to our kit and selling our soul, but unfortunately, I'm a ginger. And as we all know from that one TV show that single-handedly filled my childhood with relentless bullying, I'm a little bit lacking in that department. So instead, I guess we'll just have to go with the other option and add some... Mobility secondaries are what really make the Backburner shine. I mean, why worry about a lack of speed or range if you can just, like... And yes, I could show you another 2 hours of tutorials on how to use mobility items, but I think the more important thing is talking about when to use them. As much as it pains me, we are not talking about that flashy, in-your-face movement that tends to show up in every other video. Our movement has purpose, and that's getting from point A to point B. And it doesn't just have to be purposeful either, it also has to be unexpected. Let's look at the first item a new player might use when trying to add mobility to the pyro. A lot of times, pyros who get their hands on the thermal thruster for the first time will take one look at what it can do and just go like, "Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! It's..." This is a move that I affectionately call the brain blast. See, the joke is that their brain gets blasted. There's really no getting around it. If you're as predictable as yesterday's weather, it's just not gonna go well for you. This is a high-risk bombing item, so while you can definitely get away with some jetpack shenanigans, it really sort of depends on the enemy team being unaware. What the fuck? In this clip, I'm hanging out on the flank, and KJ is running away from what looks like the enemy combo, so I blast out here onto the bridge, and at that exact moment, they jump onto the point, and I'm able to just walk up behind them and kill them all. In this clip, I'm up in the center, and then I see this pyro who's definitely gonna walk at me, but then I hear him do a voice line, so I match his voice line, and back up and then wait for him to do another one. And then I hear him do it on the left side, so then I go around the right side right here, pull out the backburner, burn his back, and then he leaves the game. I know none of the clips I narrated were particularly flashy, and yeah, it is undeniably fun as hell to blast yourself straight into the enemy team and go crazy. But if you want to take full advantage of the backburner's crit mechanic, you've got to be sneaky with it. And that's sort of difficult to do when your secondary announces its presence to the entire map whenever you do anything with it. So we're gonna need something different, something smaller, faster, a bit quieter, with more ammo, and, you know, maybe something that can actually do some damage. I know that's a lot to ask for, though, so I understand if there's not really anything like that in the... Oh. Yeah, that'll do it. It is actually unbelievable how good the detonator is when paired with the backburner. First of all, it's a secondary that can actually deal damage, so it's good to pester people or finish them off from a distance, but it can also be used to jump. Yeah, when you equip the detonator, every map opens up into a whole new playground. In this clip, we're pushing Barn Blitz last, and I see this demo on the flank who has been sticky spamming but is currently shooting pills at us. That tells me he's got a sticky trap somewhere, so I go up on this side area here, pull out the detonator, jump through the window, and completely bypass his sticky trap and kill him pretty much instantly. And yeah, he definitely wasn't expecting that one. And yeah, it's worth noting that the thermal thruster can technically do this too, but the detonator has one thing that the jetpack just doesn't. Well, one more thing. Burst mobility. With the jetpack, if you need to go somewhere, you gotta go through this lengthy animation where the pyro puts away his flamethrower, go gadget, swaps to her secondary, and then finally, you can wait for another second as the blast-off animation plays, and even then, you're moving in a mostly fixed trajectory after that, for the first half of your jump at least. For comparison, let's look at the detonator. I swap weapons, look behind me, and boom. We're schmoving. In this clip, blue team is about to cap the point, and I gotta get in there quickly. If I go through that door, I die, so I pull out the detonator, jump up here quickly, and now I'm in a perfect position to wait a second, and then drop down and burn everybody's back when they're not expecting it. This is a fun one. At some point while I was playing Borneo, I noticed that you can actually stand on this ledge right here. So we're just gonna wait up here and see who we can get. A few seconds later, this demo man walks through the door thinking he's being sneaky on the flank, doesn't see me at all, and I'm able to drop down, save our medic's life. That's right, when you're using the detonator, you can flank quickly, you can do cool jumps, but you can also get into some funny places that you shouldn't be. In this clip, the sniper doesn't even look up to see me at all because, I mean, like, why would you? And that ends up working perfectly with the backburner's ambush-based playstyle. Except for the fact that it didn't crit, but it's fine, ignore that. If you're that sniper, like, why would you ever look there? Seriously, look at this bullshit. How do you think I got here? Honestly, I could just talk about the detonator all day. I know that I talk about movement mechanics a lot, but, like, I can't believe they put something like this in the game. It's... What?
You're getting off track again.
You can't actually spend another 2 hours on mobility tutorials. We only have the studio for another day. We gotta get this script done.
Yeah, okay, fine. Actually, wait, now that I think about it, why are we back in the studio? Aren't we, like, running from some evil mega corporation that's trying to kill us?
No, this is a procedural show.
Everything goes back to normal at the beginning of the next episode.
Except that spy. They're still here.
We're gonna have to pay for that, right?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, we have enough to cover it, right? What about that money we got from the Crystally sponsorship?
What part of procedural do you not understand, man? We're broke.
Ugh. Okay, well, I guess we need an actual sponsor.
Hello?
Hey, Lazy, it's Ethan. Listen, can I ask a favor?
Sure, what's up?
Can you recommend a sponsor for this Man's Guide we're recording? We need some money to cover some production costs.
Oh, you need money, huh? Maybe you wanna save some money while you're at it, huh? Well, have you considered...
Was that the coupon code that gives you 10% off any unusual?
That's right, Markiplier.tf is back, baby! Yeah, this episode of Man's Guide is sponsored by Marketplace.tf, a storefront for all things TF2. And Dota 2 and Steam items, actually, but that's not important. TF2, hey, look, TF2! Marketplace.tf is the only TF2 storefront with no fees for the buyer. Most other sites will show low prices, but will add a ton of hidden fees at checkout, and they'll take forever to deliver the items, and they'll never go on sale. It's basically just like a heist, but for your wallet specifically. Well, no more. Marketplace never passes fees onto you, delivers your items quickly and safely, accepts PayPal, and has sales and promos and shit like that all the time. They even give out coupons that just straight up give you free stuff. Okay, so I know that was a lot of words though, so let me just rework this real quick. Okay, no fees, free stuff. And also, yeah, it's cheaper than the Steam Community Market. Seriously, go check their coupons. As soon as this video is live, Marketplace is launching a new code, Purple Smithmas, that gives you 10% off any unusual. Yeah, I wasn't just goofing earlier, that's real. 10% off unusual taunts, skins, war paints, unusual fires, hats, miscs, literally any unusual. 10% off, just like that. And I should say, I don't want this to come off like empty shilling either. I can tell you from personal experience that Marketplace is cheap, fast, reliable, and most of all, safe. I've been using the site for years and I've never had any issues with getting my items. You know, other than the item servers going down, but that's not their fault. You know how it goes. Death, taxes, TF2 item servers not working. If you're ever in the market for TF2 items of any kind, look no further than marketplace.tf. You can use the link in the description or the pinned comment and go check it out. I mean, like, after you finish the video, though. Okay, yep, 5 seconds? Yeah, that works for me. Okay, see you then.
Are they coming?
They just did.
Ugh, perfect. Back to the guide. Where were we again?
I just honestly don't remember.
Let me just narrate this clip, maybe it'll come to me. So this clip's Thunder Mountain. I'm shooting the detonator at a soldier. Oh, right, okay. So the Backburner isn't, strictly speaking, perfect. The main, well, only downside to the Backburner is that your air blast costs 150% more. In practical terms, this means you only get about as many air blasts as the number of years it took the Confederacy to get completely steamrolled. That's a pretty huge downside, seeing as air blast is arguably Pyro's most powerful mechanic that is definitely in no way infuriating to play against. You can't extinguish your teammates as effectively, you can't reflect projectiles as often, you can't stuff Ubers as well. It seems really bad, but there is a silver lining to this, and that's how this red text makes people perceive the weapon. And also the people using it. That's just the thing. Nobody expects you to be able to air blast with this thing, which means if you want to catch somebody off guard, using the Backburner to kind of smurf your way into easy air blast kills works surprisingly well. It is honestly fascinating how much of an impression this little dragon ornament can make on the enemy gamers. Like, look at this. In this clip, I'm on the flank, but then I get caught out by this soldier and he shoots some rockets at me, so I air blast one and then two of his rockets back, and then I retreat to get some health. Fast forward a few seconds and I'm back on the flank. This time I run into a different soldier at first and I air blast one of his rockets. He stops shooting me, but this guy shows up again after seeing me air blast two of his rockets and one of his teammates. He looks at me and goes, well, this guy's a Backburner pyro. There's no way he could reflect the fourth rocket, shoots another rocket at me and dies. In this clip, it's CTF. They're bomb rushing the intel. It doesn't matter. But there's a soldier here who's coming in on the left there. He shoots once at me, sees me air blast, and then swaps to his shotgun, but then sees that it's a Backburner, swaps back to the rocket launcher, shoots another rocket at me, and dies for it. Huh? If you're consistently getting fed rockets, sure, you could just shoot them back at the enemy gamers, but that's what you'd expect a pyro reflecting a rocket to do. So, hear me out here. What if we just take this soldier's rocket and... All of this insanity is the meat of the Backburner's gameplay loop. Whatever the other team thinks you're doing, you just make sure that you're doing something else. Do they think you're with the combo? Go on the flank. Do they think you're on the flank? Run straight at them while they're too paranoid to notice. Like, take this situation. You're right in the face of an obviously smurfing gibbous vision sniper who is staring down this hatless Backburner pyro. He's gonna try and guess what your movement will be so that he can land a quickscope, so let's look at a simplified version of our movement options for this next split second. We've got A, continuing to hold W, or B, pressing literally any other button. So what do you think this sniper thinks you're going to do next? You got it? All right, cool. Now do the other thing. When using the Backburner, you never let them know your next move. Act like a genius mastermind tactician, and then in the next breath, act like you've got two brain cells that are both competing for third place. You want your ridiculous unpredictability to put the fear of God into your enemies. Revelations 13:12, I am the spy. From Team Fortress 2. Yeah, that's right. Did I mention you can trick stab with the Backburner? That's right, folks. Once again, it's back time. See, that's what we call a callback. Yeah, you're really just getting back to basics. You might think it's a setback, but I call it a run back. You know, just really a back and forth exchange, if you will. Back Zynga. We really do be playing like the spy from Team Fortress 2, but unlike the spy from Team Fortress 2, we have a flamethrower. See, that's the nice part about any class that isn't the spy. We actually have options for head-to-head combat that aren't, Spy is a bad class. Yeah, I know. In the right hands, a revolver can be pretty powerful, but most of the time, if you get caught out as spy, you just die. Let's take a look at a quick scenario. Let's say that you're a spy on landfall and you go for a corner stab next to these stairs. And oh no, your keyboard messed up and your mouse didn't work and your eyelids got in the way and your chair broke and your room was too cold that day. So for reasons entirely out of your control, you went around the corner too early and now everyone's looking at you. At this point, if you stick around, you're basically dead. You could get one, maybe two shots off, maybe a decent trade if you're lucky. But now let's take a look at that same situation as a Backburner pyro. There is one advantage that the spy has over the Backburner though, and that is that his backstab range is the full 180 degrees. That tends to lead to some interesting hit detection, but the Backburner's range is only about 74 degrees, which can lead to some even more interesting hit detection. The thing I've noticed most is that the crit mechanic has trouble registering when you're approaching from above, so the best position to put yourself in is one with a reverse height advantage. And if you are higher than them for any number of reasons, try to aim where you think their back is going to be rather than where it is at that moment. It just tends to work a little better. By acting this insane, you've essentially turned any encounter with you into a guessing game. But even with the Backburner stereotype debuff, players are going to start adapting at some point. Just take this clip. Imbued with the game's sense of some hyper-intelligent extraplanar being, this soldier has stopped shooting his feet. We've essentially conditioned him to be terrified of the air blast. So at this point, what do? Well, you press the funny button. When you're playing with people's expectations this much, you're conditioning them. And it's your job to know when they're adapting to you and change your play accordingly. Even if it's stupid, even if it's an objectively bad decision, do it anyway. The subversion is the point. You don't just want to kill your enemies, you want to make them go, what? Why did you do that? It's not about winning, it's about sending a message. Which brings me to the main point of the video. How should you, a real Mann Co mercenary, use the Backburner? Well, think about it. Above all else, you have to be unexpected. And what's the last thing you'd expect a Backburner pyro to do? That's right, it's using something other than the Backburner. The frying pan is a completely ridiculous weapon. It is just a stock weapon reskin, sure, but somehow, some way, its hidden stats take it to a completely different level. Oh, you're scared of being dealt guaranteed crits from behind? Well, guess what? We've got random crits. Oh, but wait, I hear you saying that's not fun to play against. Well, I've got news for you. You picked Pyro. That ship has sailed, dude. And also, that's kind of the point. The frying pan is loud. It has an obscene crit rate, and there's really no getting around it. It's annoying. Every time you roll that crit, it deals an extra 2d8 psychic damage. 3d8 if they're a fiend, undead, or spy main. Yeah, you heard me right. A pan crit? That's a smite. The frying pan is a paladin weapon. It's not just the best melee weapon in the game. I'm confident in saying this. It's the best weapon in... No, the best weapon in any game. That's how good the frying pan is. Man, come on. I was just getting into it. Now I have to build all that momentum up again.
Look, I get where you're going. It's a solid idea. Stupid, unexpected, funny. It's good. Follows a theme. But, that's kind of the problem, right?
What do you mean?
This is what we do every time. Starts as a tutorial, gets progressively dumber, and eventually it all goes to hell. Then we cut to the studio, and then we do an ending stinger. Same thing every single time.
Yeah, no, you're right. If we really want to do something unexpected, we have to do something fresh, something new, something original, something no two mediocre men sitting in a room with reasonably good microphones have ever done before.
Well, I mean, mediocre is kind of a strong word, right? I mean, I feel like I'm pretty confident myself.
Wait! I have an idea. So then I told him that if I had to give the Backburner a rating, I'm going to give it like 420 degrees Fahrenheit out of 451.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah, like it's good, right? Like but the weird hit reg holds it back a bit for me. It's kind of like actual TF2. It's pretty good, but it's held back by a couple things.
Dude, you're so right. But
like what's with medics not healing me anyway? A medic's entire purpose is to heal high-value pockets and give them Uber charges, right? And clearly I'm a high-value pocket. My Strange Original has like 50,000 kills on it. They should know to heal me and not anybody else.
Didn't you, like, farm that in a strange leveling server or something?
Hey, you know what's so weird? I just realized today that I'm being censored by Valve.
Oh man, really?
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, they're targeting me. Ever since I got canceled by the radical woke soldier mains for calling someone a war pig, they've been trying to take away my platform.
Well, if I could just play devil's advocate for a second here, you're totally right. You're so right. And that's why they're so mad at you. It's because of how right you are.
Just this day, I tried to tell somebody about their stereotype in a game, and you know what it said? Voice communication is not available for this account. They're trying to silence me. Anyway, guys, if you want to stop the man's guide from being silenced by the establishment, make sure to check out my new Netflix special, Unusual Taunt Stereotypes, episode 46. It's going to be totally awesome.
They're almost here. You can hear them, can't you? They're scratching at the door. And now, they're back.
And right behind you. That's right, your favorite niche internet micro-celebrities will return, with all new adventures planned for the future. Will Chris and Lee find out the mysterious odors that are in the studio walls? Will Uncle Dane actually come on the show? Who knows? The possibilities are literally endless. But, okay. Look, I'm gonna level with you. Last time you and I talked, you didn't go to the Christopher Lee Productions YouTube channel, and I get it, okay? But look, I can only lockpick into the studio recording booth so many times before they put some security cameras in this place. I killed a man with a revolver to get in here. The Crystal Lee show was my life, you understand me? I was an interview television show host. But you know what? That's not important. The cops are on their way, and, time is precious. We're back, and that's the important thing.